Okay, I was kind of struggling to come up with a topic this morning, and then something real simple came to me that I'm super passionate about. Live recordings, live records. What's your favorite one and why? So I started doing live recordings, gosh, like 30 years ago. I'm super passionate about it. I wear a lot of hats in the music business, but like live recordings are my like mega passion. There was always something about hearing the live version. Obviously the studio version usually sounds better because you can sit there and dial in the perfect sound, and it has its great place. But for me, loving concerts and growing up going to, every concert I could afford to go to, I loved live recordings because I felt like I was at the concert. And if there was a live recording, I kind of knew what to expect, right? And I always thought that was awesome. When I'm doing a live recording, there's a lot of technical stuff to it that's boring, that is not really intended for this channel. But I simply try to never lose the calibration of just be a music fan. Try to put the listener in the audience in the best seat in the house. And if you were sitting in the best seat in the house, what would that sound like, right? All the band sound would be coming in front of you, and then you would have all this ambience around you and audience coming from every direction. So favorite live recordings. I guess most people my age would say Kiss Alive. I'm a huge Kiss fan, but if I'm being honest, Kiss Alive never hit me. I didn't own Kiss Alive. The first live record I guess I ever bought was Kiss Alive 2. And it had like 4 or 5 studio tracks, and I loved that. But my all-time favorite live album ever is the Scorpions' Worldwide Live. It's not super live, but there's a looped, when I say that, there's a looped audience. Looping is when you used to take a sample of something and just repeat it, right? And so they had this audience loop that was coming up on a fader, and they're just riding this audience like when the band's playing. And let me tell you, when a band is playing through the PA, rarely will the audience get over the top of that. Occasionally it happens. Taylor Swift, there's occasions, but doesn't matter, because in 1985, I think 86, when Worldwide Live came out, and you listened to that record and you heard like Rock You Like a Hurricane, it sounded like you were in the audience at a Scorpions concert. And that probably, more so than Kiss Alive 2, that probably is where, well, I know that's where my fascination with live records started. Frampton Comes Alive is a big one for a lot of people. I think it sold like 10 million copies. I mean, that's a monster record. Baby, I Love Your Way, Show Me the Way. Not sure. Wasn't a massive Peter Frampton fan, but he's an incredible human being. So anyway, through the 70s, live records were massive. Kiss, Frampton, everyone had a live record. In the 80s, it kind of became more of a novelty release, but it was still happening. And then, kind of in the 90s and 2000s, it really tapered off. And I think a lot of that is artists were guilty. They've always gone in and fixed things, but I think artists took it too far, and we're too worried about the sonics of it sounding, like the record, which I think is a massive mistake. I think it's great when you just have a live recording and it's raw and there's mistakes. Famously, Aerosmith live bootleg. I mean, that's about as live and raw a live recording as you'll ever hear. It's crazy when your Jeep is your set, your studio, and you can't control the lighting. Anyway, live bootleg, that is a big one. Like, you actually hear fireworks going off. People like lighting and throwing fireworks. It used to be a thing. Thank God it's not a thing anymore. But how cool is that you just, you hear mistakes, you hear raw. So anyway, yeah, live recordings. I guess, I'm just trying to get a conversation going. I'm super passionate about it. I've spent my career pursuing that, trying to capture the audience in a manner that puts the listener there. But anyway, that's really all I got to say about that. I'm just looking for feedback. Like, what's your favorite live recording of all time and why? Have a great day.